Good morning, everyone! So, I don't know how many of you are familiar with Bill Engvall, but he's got a skit that he's known for saying, "Here's your sign." Well, this morning, I thought about him, and not in the way he intended, because his is about people who lack a little bit of common sense. Mine is about the universe, because the universe gives you signs all the time. And it's up to you to take a second to recognize it and do something about it. So this morning I was listening to my Darren Daily. Great. If you guys don't listen to it, definitely subscribe to that. It's morning personal development. It's fantastic stuff. So in the Darren Daily, he talks about writing your own story and being your own author. And I'm going to get into my version of that in a minute. But right after I had listened to that, I then put on the other personal development book that I'm reading called The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. Also an amazing book. And as I put that on, he just happened to be at a point where he was talking about taking responsibility for all of your actions, for everything that happens in your life. And that's a common theme that I've heard from every single author I've ever listened to in personal development, is taking responsibility for your own actions. And as soon as I started doing that, that's when I really started to see the changes. So between the two of them, I was like, all right, the universe is telling me that, it's giving me that reinforcement of I'm in the right direction, I'm doing the right thing, and just kind of guiding me where I need to be. And with that, I wanted to share it with you. So today I want to talk about kind of stealing a little bit from Darren Hardy and say, start using your own ink. When we are born, we are given a pen. And with that pen, we begin writing our story. But we're using other people's ink because we don't have a conscious mind at that point. We're just being taught. We don't know anything. We come into this world as a blank slate. And everything about who we are right now is taught to us. And from there, we base our beliefs, our habits, our limits and everything off of what we are taught. So by the time we are given our own ink and we are given that pen to be able to write our own story, the ink that we're using is tainted with other people's ideas and beliefs and limits. And that affects about who we are. And it's up to us to recognize the fact that we now have the ability to use our own ink. So take the pen that you were given at birth and take the old ink out of it and put new ink in it. And start using that ink to rewrite your story. You know, you can go from anywhere you want, whatever beliefs you have. I call it the Age of Enlightenment. And one of the things that my good friend Brian and I used to talk about as youngsters in our early 20s was about how, you know, we both grew up going to church every Sunday. And it was about, you know, right after confirmation, you know, right when we didn't need to start going, when we didn't need to be going to church anymore, we stopped going. And for the both of us, we've kind of gone on slightly different paths, but it's not too far off. And it's not that we don't believe in God. We just believe in the essence of something that's there, of a greater power, in a different manner. So we still have that belief, but we believe it in our own way. So we rewrote our story based upon the freedom that we were given when we were given our own ink at the Age of Enlightenment. But that holds true for everywhere else in your life. Whether it be the limits and the things that you believe that you are possible of accomplishing. Or maybe it's, you know, your belief, you know, you can go right to racism and stuff like that too. By the way, that is a taught behavior. So knock that shit off. Anyway, but all of that, all of the beliefs that you have are taught to you. And you can rewrite that. You have full reign of making a choice. And when it comes to taking responsibility in your life, that's what it comes down to. is for every action that happens in your life, and for every time that you get frustrated at something, and for every time you want to blame someone else, you're using someone else's ink. And when you're using someone else's ink, that means you're not writing your own story. But as soon as you take responsibility for everything that's happening in your life, then you will realize that you have all the control. And there's way too many times that we get really frustrated and we get very opinionated and we start throwing other people under the bus and blaming other people because we don't have control. And we freak out and we panic because we don't feel like we have control. But in reality, we do. We're just choosing not to have the control. You do. But you have to take responsibility. Now, granted, there are things that happen in your life that are out of your control. You know, perhaps it was, somebody in your life got cancer. Somebody close to you. That sucks. Somebody passes away. Whatever happens, bad things are going to happen. Life is not going to be full of rainbows and fairy tales and everything. But where we have the choice is in how we react and behave based upon the actions that are going on in our lives. Some of the actions we can't control, and we need to realize that when you're stuck in traffic and you're getting frustrated, there are actions that you could have taken before that to change. You could have left earlier. You could have prepared ahead of time. Whatever it is, there's a lot of different things that you could have done differently to change that. However, you're stuck in that situation. You have a choice to either be super frustrated and pissed off at everybody else around you, or you can take responsibility for the situation, calm yourself down, and think, all right, what can I use this time for to better myself? That's a choice. You always have a choice in how you react to a situation. And when you realize that and you start making better choices, that's when you're going to start making changes. 4 years ago, I was really frustrated at everything and the entire world around me. I was in debt, I was divorced, I was single, I was lonely. I just hated myself, and I blamed everybody else for it. Taxes are too high, the government sucks. Yeah. And then once I realized that I had control and I started writing my own story, and I started putting things together and I started setting goals for myself, then I realized, okay, I've got control here. Everything calmed down. My stress level came way down. And all of a sudden, I started moving in the right direction. And I started seeing my goals come to fruition. And I started to have to set new goals. And by doing that, I'm still not where I want to be, but I'm constantly moving forward. I'm always making progress in the right direction because I chose to start writing my own story. Because I chose to take responsibility for my actions. I started to take responsibility for all the behaviors that I have. I started to take responsibility for how I react to every situation. And by doing so, I'm moving in the right direction. And while I'm not where I want to be yet, I know I'm moving in the right direction. I made a post the other day about a 7-year progress and journey that I made, in my health and fitness. And I went up and down many times in that 7 years, but I have always moved forward. Collectively, after 7 years, I'm where I'm at. Life is a lot longer than we think. There's a lot of it left for most of us. That's a lot of chapters we have left to write in our story. You are the one who has control of writing those chapters. So, do you want to write those chapters, or do you want somebody else to write them for you? Because if you're angry and frustrated at the world right now, there's a real good chance that's because you're letting somebody else write your story for you. So, you make that decision. This is your first choice right here, right now. Do you want to choose to write your own story? Or do you want to choose to let somebody else do that for you? You can continue to live a life of frustration, or you can start making some changes. And it's going to be hard work. It's not going to be easy. You're going to have to make a lot of choices. You're going to have to learn things. But as you learn things, it's going to help you become better and take you to the next level. Working through stuff, and life is not about all the good times. It's not about figuring out what it is that makes you happy. It's about figuring out who you are and the crappy stuff that you're willing to fight through. Because you can either ignore your problems or you can tackle them. Again, another choice. It's all choices. So there it is. I hope you have yourselves a great day today. Start putting your own ink into your own pen. Start writing your own story, and I look forward to seeing all of the stories that you begin writing for yourself. Have yourselves a great day, and we'll chat later. If you've enjoyed what you've seen, or just like to smile like a fool sometimes, subscribe today and check out my other videos.